Everybody. I hope day one is going okay for you. As we get used to this distance learning thing, um, going to be some changes, some ways of doing things that are going to be different. So I just ask you, please be flexible, be patient. You're learning some things that we're having to work through. I'm learning some things based on the questions that you're all giving me. So, first off, thank you for those of you who asked questions. Thank you for emailing those to me. I real quickly wanted to go through a couple of questions that were repeatedly asked. One that was most important was, how do we add pictures to our document? So if you are doing things on the Google Doc, probably the easiest way for you to add pictures is, like, for example, some of you asked, hey, I have this question that says, sketch a diagram. How do I do that? Well, Google has it's not fancy, but it is a drawing tool. If you go to Insert in your upper tab here, Insert, and then go to Drawing. Okay, if you click on that and click on New, it brings you to this screen here. Now, what this does for you is it allows you to draw. Think of this as like a blank piece of paper, and it's like your canvas. So, for example, if I wanted to create a line, because we had our simulator, here's like the ground, right? So there's the ground. And then we had our cannon. You don't have to be fancy. I could go to this button, which brings me to a bunch of different shapes, and I'm saying, well, a cannon's basically kind of like a rectangle. So here's my cannon. I can take that, draw it. I can change the colors up here if I want to. Cannon was at an angle, so I can tip that at an angle and drag it to wherever I want it to go. I could put in my shape of the cannonball. Maybe it was the person that you were launching out of the cannon. Maybe it was a car, whatever you used. So there's my cannonball going out. Okay. And then put the information that you think I'm looking for, right? So what would I, as your teacher, want to see in these pictures? Once you think you got it all done, just go to Save and Close. Okay, so save it and close it, and it appears where you clicked before. Now, that may have pushed some stuff down. So notice some of these boxes are in a slightly different spot. I left spaces in here purposefully for those people who wanted to print this out and do it that way, or for those people who want to do this. You can just delete some of those extra spaces around your picture, and it will bring everything back for you. Now, another option, if you don't like doing that, so let's just pretend we didn't have that in there, you can actually draw out a picture on a piece of paper if you want to, sketch it out, doesn't have to be fancy again, and then you can still do that insert feature again, but now instead of doing that, you could do an image. Okay, so you have some options. If you did a picture and then you photograph that with your phone, it's ideally best if your phone is linked to your Google account. Okay, so we're working with Google products. They want you to be using Google. So if you have that picture uploaded on your Google Drive, then it should appear on your drive. And when you click on that, if you go to most recent, it should be the most recent thing on there. Okay, or you can click on that image. If it's on your Chromebook, you could actually, you have the camera on your Chromebook. If you just click on the camera, right, it'll bring up a screen that looks like this. It'll say, yes, use your camera, allow, and then your camera will be selected. I'm actually in a video, so it's not letting me. Anyway, you could take hold up your sheet of paper and, take your picture. Just make sure it's easy for me to see. Okay, we can do the same thing with your graph over here. Okay, on your graph, you can click on it. It's actually just a picture. So here on this part, you have a data table that you've created, which you can also insert. You can insert data tables. And then here, you could actually literally just plot those points on this graph. So you go to Edit, okay, and it brings you that picture, right? And so I can add text boxes for my labels. So I could say, okay, this was the angle maybe. And then over here on my y-axis, this was the range. And notice this little button here, this allows me to rotate it so I can get it angled the right direction and put it there. And then I could do maybe circles for my data points, or whatever, okay? You can do that on here. You can trace it with a line. The scribble allows you to free draw, so maybe my dots looked something like this, whatever it happens to be. I can change the color of my line. This changes the weight, how big the line is. If I want it to stand out more, easier to see, all of that stuff I can change if it's a dotted line or dashes, whatever. Okay, so that's one option. If I save that, then it actually saves whatever I did directly into that spot. Another option, just like over with the diagram, is you could sketch out a graph on paper. I really want it to look good though, so if you have graph paper, that would be better. You could download a lot of graph papers online and print them off. Take a picture of your graph that you've made and then just insert that image again, kind of like what I showed you before. So you have a bunch of different options. You also could, on your Chromebooks, you should have Google, spreadsheets or Google Sheets. You could create a graph of your data. So if I had my data table here and I created that graph here, I would obviously be looking for things that are labeled. So you want a lot more, but you can then take that, copy it, right? I could even go on to this picture here, and if I go to actions, I could paste that in. And there's the graph that I had. Now I'd probably want to delete this one and all this other stuff so that the only graph I'm showing is here. Or you could delete that thing and you could insert. Actually, I think I can just go to paste here. Well, that's just for the file. Right here, paste, and there's my graph. Okay, so you have some options. If that's not making sense, please let me know, but that is something that you can do. Okay, so get that done. Remember, this is due by 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, so you still got time to work on this. Okay, hope it's going well for you. We'll kind of play with things as things flush out. So enjoy. Have a good day.